Well, welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Tanner O'Brien. I'm a senior partner here at ActionCOACH in Central Texas. And today I am joined by Shubham Sethi, the co-founder of Gleantap. So I'm very excited to be sitting down, talking about business, talking about entrepreneurship, the journey throughout it, because that journey is always the most fascinating story. And I have yet to find two stories that are identical. So very excited to be sitting down. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Shubham, I'm going to hand it over to you for just a moment. Why don't you give us a little bit of background of who you are and tell us a little bit about your business? We'll get that out of the way as kind of the first starting point of our conversation today.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me today. Excited about the conversation. So yeah, just a little bit about me. I have been in the product management sort of space for quite a while. I went to business school with my MBA in strategy and management. Right after that, I started with a startup, kind of a mid-stage startup, I would say. I was employee 70-ish, started as a product manager. It was a tech company. The company got sold to Cisco, and then went on to another product management role into another startup. And then have been in this sort of like startup world and been working with the executives mostly during that time. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot during that time, and then come 2019, a good friend of mine who already ran a company. I was talking to him, and he was sort of looking for a co-founder. And there was a new concept that we started chatting about, and we wanted to bring that to market, which is how Gleantap came into existence. So we joined hands in 2019, launched Gleantap, and Planet Fitness was our first client after that. And since then, I've been working diligently on kind of scaling the product, scaling the marketing side of things, and kind of pushing the tech side of the stuff as well as a co-founder. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's my journey from like my MBA to my corporate role as product manager within startups to starting my own startup with a friend.
Beautiful. I love that. And before we kind of start peeling back that transition from employee to co-founder and being a part of a startup in that way, um, for those that are listening, want to know a little bit more about Gleantap. Tell us a little bit about what you all do. What does the product provide?
Sure. Gleantap is a SaaS product, a software as a service product. We are a marketing automation and a sales software for small businesses. So we kind of noticed specifically in the gym and health and wellness space that a lot of businesses do not have tools and capabilities to really have that communication and retention aspect going for their business. And we saw a big gap there. What we saw was that these businesses were really good at grabbing the customers through the front door, but they were really bad at retaining the customers. And that's where we wanted to create a product to help small business owners slash these churn rates and kind of improve their retention rates with the product. And that's where the product kind of evolved from just a communication tool with the existing customers to now a complete full-blown end-to-end CRM and marketing automation product. We continue to focus mostly on small businesses because we know that there is a big need in that space for these business owners to use these tools. There are a lot of tools out there, but most of them are disjointed. They do not work together in a very easy, seamless manner. And most small business owners specifically, are not very tech savvy. They do not have big teams to be able to kind of bring these tools together and make them work. So yeah, that's where Gleantap comes in. Our vision has been, and our vision still is to be this one product which kind of can work as an end-to-end software platform for sales, marketing, and automation.
That's fantastic. I love how kind of the preliminary focus, if I heard you right, was more on kind of retention and helping reduce churn rate, versus going after let's help you just bring as many people into the door. That's a really cool approach that I haven't heard very often from those in your space, which is really cool. So awesome. Uh, let's take a step back into this journey here for a little bit. Coming, with an MBA, working for some startups, kind of being in that space for a bit. When you made that transition to starting Gleantap, going from strictly kind of employee to now I'm a co-founder and I'm building this business as part of my own. What was that transition like for you? Was there any fear with it? Was it like, nope, I got this. I've done this type of thing before, just now in a different role? Kind of what was your approach to that, and how did that feel? What was the experience?
Absolutely. So yeah, one thing it's starting a business is never a linear sort of approach. It's a roller coaster. So there are good days, good months, bad months. There's COVID, there's shutdowns, things like that always keeps coming in. But yeah, when I was transitioning over, definitely had this excitement that was built in that I have seen a lot of startups in my career as an employee. I've kind of helped them scale, so I have the skill set that I can now use to be able to scale my own startup. So I had this confidence, and then had this sort of excitement built in as I was transitioning over. But at the same time, there was a risk as well, a fear/risk as well, that what if it didn't go well? What if those questions were kind of coming in? But yeah, in the end, it was kind of a leap of faith to be able to kind of go in there, work with my other co-founder and kind of with the team. Definitely a leap of faith. So yeah, it was a kind of a mixed bag of emotions when I was transitioning, but I would say it was leaning a little bit more towards the confidence and excitement, because when you're coming in fresh, it's always like I didn't know what I didn't know. So yeah.
The wonderful pieces that you don't know. It's so exciting, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, as you went through, knowing especially in startups, there's so many kind of different paths that you can take. You have to go out and raise funds to build it. Is it something that's kind of grown organically, bootstrapped it? What was your kind of general path that y'all took to get this thing off the ground?
So it started as a bootstrapped thing. So our first client was Planet Fitness, and actually the product came into existence through that client. So they actually had this problem of retention that they wanted to solve. Just one of the franchisee, not the corporate. So one of the franchisee wanted to solve that problem at that time, like in 2019. And that's how sort of this whole ideation and the whole concept sort of came into picture. Now that revenue coming in from that first client was not enough to do everything with the team and sort of cover all the expenses and stuff. So definitely there was a little bit of a bootstrapping that needed to be done. But the word caught on, and there were other sort of franchisees and other businesses that wanted to use Gleantap as well. So we were able to kind of bootstrap and were able to be at sort of like a close to the break-even point when it started off. But in order to kind of grow, we knew that we needed funds. So we did end up raising funds through investors, and definitely went in that direction. but yeah, it was a combination. It started as a bootstrap thing, where we wanted to have some clients there, wanting to have those clients use the product, get the value out of it, and then kind of show that value to the investors to be able to raise funds. So it was a combination.
I love it. Very organic on the front end, and then looks like funding to scale growth, that sort of thing, which is amazing. I love kind of getting the pieces on how that looks, because again, everybody's story is a little bit differently on kind of when and how things fit together.
Sure.
Um, so kind of at this point, I love to ask questions around roadblocks, challenges. You made the comment that the path into business ownership and entrepreneurship, that sort of thing, is not always a linear path, which typically means there's some ups, there's some downs, there's some things that you have to just handle as you go through this process.
Right.
Are there any kind of, I don't know if I want to call them major, but are there any significant or memorable roadblocks or hurdles that either you or the business came up against and had to overcome along your journey in the last few years?
Absolutely. I would say the biggest one was COVID. So it's the last thing that I remember during that time was everything was going well. We had these big plans that we were going to do these big things in the product, and we were about to hire people and all of that. And then sort of all of a sudden, shutdowns started to happen, and we didn't take that very seriously. Like for first couple of days or first week, we're like, okay, this is just for 1 week. Probably everything's going to be back after 2 weeks or something, and we'll be back to normal. And then we started to hear from our clients, because we were primarily in this health and wellness space. So as you can imagine, most of our clients were hit with those shutdowns, and they started sort of reaching out to us, because they were in panic mode. So they started reaching out to us that, hey, pause, freeze our billing, cancel cancellations, and things like that, which really started to kind of trickle down and had pretty solid impact on our revenues. And being a startup, we were not like in a position to be able to survive without too many funds for months and months and months. So yeah, it was a big roadblock that I can remember at that time. And how we did was how we did overcome that at that time was to kind of come together as a team, which has been our approach in the past as well, to really be very customer focused and customer driven. And we're like, hey, things are going to go pretty crazy from here. It seems like it can be a multi-month shutdown as well. So we started reaching out to our customers, that because they were also in panic, and they were also sort of looking for solutions to survive. So we were like, okay, we are going to help our customers. That's how we're going to survive. So we started reaching out to our customers, started talking to them, and wanted to understand what are their biggest problems and challenges that they're trying to solve. Definitely, they're trying to stay afloat for sure. But other than that, like from a tactical standpoint, what is that they're trying to solve? So at this time, because the problems just changed overnight for everyone at that time. So yeah, their biggest problem that we came to know was everyone wanted to go online, because everything was shut down. The physical locations were shut down. They wanted to go online. They had teachers, they had skills, so they wanted to kind of jump on Zoom. Started to offer these online classes over Zoom and all. Now, what we thought of was that, hey, we can help them kind of scale this product or scale this offering, because most people that we spoke with at that time, they were just doing something on Instagram Live, something on YouTube Live, they're jumping on Facebook Live, things like that. Very, very disjointed, haphazard, without a plan. And pretty much everyone was looking for a platform which was like an end-to-end sort of a platform for online teaching, specifically within fitness. So we came together within a couple of weeks. Our team kind of came out with a new product, new tech product, which was a very, very bare bones of what we have today as a very sort of established product, a very bare bones version, MVP of that. And we released that. And we were shocked to see that our growth actually spiked during that time. So we actually added more customers during COVID than we had before COVID. So yeah, that was I would say a great example where there was a big roadblock, like it was just going downhill, and then it was pretty much survival mode. We had to do something, and it was customer driven, and then kind of came together as a team, launched something, and then sort of survived the company, I would say, and then also got a new product as a byproduct of that. So
That's really cool. That pivot, that shift is that whole situation unfolded because nobody could have really seen that one coming. So I have to ask, with it kind of being a hot topic at the moment, um, as we look over the next 6 to 12 months, inflation's going up. There's potential of a legit recession starting to come in. Some similar things to what we saw in a very shortened period of time with COVID. The lessons that you've learned and things that you've understood in going through that little bit of COVID. How do you approach, or what do you think are the things that are most important to be paying attention to over the next 6 to 12 months for any business out there, but specifically those that are in software?
yeah, so I my take plus our take is to really focus on growth. So at this time, if a company or a startup in our position, if they're not growing, it's going to get difficult from here on, and it has already gotten difficult in the last 6 months or so, and it's gonna get a little bit more difficult. So growth is going to be the key thing, and it has always been a key thing for us, and I believe most companies, I tend to believe that most companies have that as their top thing, growth, and then kind of bringing in revenue. Now how that has changed slash what I want to kind of use from our COVID learning is that at that time we were very customer focused, and we were like, hey, what is the market needing right now? What are the customers needing right now? And that actually helped us. So from that lesson, we are going to stick to that same thing, that if we are looking for growth, our growth is only going to come from our customers, and that is only going to come if we bring more value to them and if we solve their problems. And that's what we stick with, and we are sticking with at this time, where we are adding a lot more features in the product. We are kind of optimizing the value proposition that we have, and kind of just going through that loop over and over again. Figure out what the problem is from a customer standpoint, bring that into the product, deliver that, and then figure out what's the next problem that they have and how we can make their lives even better. So just executing on that loop.
Beautiful. I love that. Well said. Appreciate you kind of going through those pieces. As we look at your journey overall, and you can go further than just the last few years, but all the way back through any other company that you worked for, that sort of thing. As you look at what's helped you be successful today, what do you attribute your success to? I like to kind of call these the keys to success. It could be anything under the sun on kind of what you would attribute your successes to, daily rituals, habits, anything like that, if that's the case. But what would you say are your keys to success?
My key to success at this point, I would say I believe I can be a little bit more successful for sure. But my key to success so far has been, I would say, optimism. So I'm a very realistic optimist, I would say. Even if it's COVID time or something else is going on, I have this this inbuilt thing within me which makes me feel like there is a way out. There has to be a way out. And that's what I always believe every day, that every problem has a solution. Every problem has a way out, and we just need to find it. We just need to put our energies behind it, and we just need to find it. So that has, I would say, that mindset and that attitude has really helped me throughout. And I would like to attribute a lot of my success so far to that, which in turn helps me keep pushing, which in turn helps me keep learning, in turn helps me keep exploring, keep connecting, and reaching out to folks as well. So yeah, that'll be one thing that I'll say.
I love it. When you look back on kind of everything overall, I always like to ask the question of what's the most memorable piece of advice that you've been given? Not necessarily the best piece, but just the most memorable. What would you say is the most memorable piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Memorable piece of advice. Great question. I would say that that the best advice that I can remember has been that be prepared and show up. I think a lot of people think that if someone is doing something, they are just exceptional people, extraordinary, and they're born with something which they don't have, which I have realized, and based on that advice, that it's all about putting yourself to it, get prepared and show up. If someone can do that consistently, you are going to, I don't know if you're going to succeed or not, because success is a different definition for everyone, but at least you're going to be looked at like a person who has achieved something, and who has that extraordinary thing in there. So yeah, I would say that is the best advice that I can remember, that just show up and put in the hard work and be prepared.
Beautiful advice. Truly beautiful. Well, I do want to be respectful of time. I'm kind of looking at here, and I know we've gone probably a little bit longer than I'd initially mentioned to you in the beginning. So I appreciate the time. I do want to end on kind of one specific question, but before we do, for those that are viewing, where can they find out more information about you? Where can they connect? Where can they find out more information about Gleantap? Provide us the info. Where can we go for more information?
So yeah, if you want to check out Gleantap, if you're a small business or someone looking for a marketing automation sort of help software, just go to Gleantap, GLEANTAP, Gleantap.com, and there's going to be a form, schedule a demo. Just reach out to us. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. You can easily find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active there. So yeah, you can connect me with LinkedIn if you want to reach out for any marketing automation help, Gleantap.com.
Beautiful. Thank you. And for those that are watching, I will put all of this information in the description below. Make sure you go check it out. Best way we can learn about everything that Shubham just shared with you here today is go in, check it out, connect with him, that sort of thing. So highly recommend for everybody watching, go take advantage of that. But Shubham, as we wrap up here today, I always like to end on the final question. What is most inspiring to you?
Most inspiring. I would say these days, or recently, my 4-year-old kid, I would say, he's been inspiring me a lot. There's a lot to learn from the kids, which I realized once I had my kid. But yeah, a couple of things that I learned, and then he inspired me every day is about just be in the moment, and be a continuous learner. So yeah, my kids / my kid, both are continuous learners. They are in the moment, they're happy, and they go with the flow. So yeah, that's what I I learn from him, and that's what inspires me pretty much every day. That hey, just just be there, enjoy your work, and keep learning.
Beautiful. I appreciate that. And as someone that has a couple of kids myself, I can definitely relate and understand that. So very cool. Appreciate that. Shubham, thank you so much for being here today. It has been a genuine pleasure having the opportunity to chat with you, learn a little bit more about your specific journey, your experience going through, successes, challenges, all of that. So thank you for being here and sharing your story with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great talking to you. Appreciate it.